You ever wonder why certain men live in a woman's mind forever, even long after she's moved on? Why she might get married, build a family, but still secretly compare every man to that one guy she could never shake? Let me tell you the truth. Women never forget the man who did these 5 things. Not the man with the fanciest car, not the man with the perfect body, not the man who bent over backwards trying to impress her. No. She remembers the one who touched her soul in ways most men don't even understand. That man becomes the standard. He becomes the quiet ghost in her memories. He's the one she replays when no one's looking. And I'll be real with you. Most men never become that man. Why? Because they've been lied to about what women actually value. You've been told it's about chasing money, chasing looks, chasing status. Sure, those things can get attention. But attention fades fast. What doesn't fade, what lingers in a woman's heart and memory, is how a man made her feel. That's what burns itself into her mind. And there are 5 things, plus 2 bonus ones most men completely overlook, that separate the unforgettable from the forgettable. Before I break them down, let me say this. What you're about to hear might sting. It might challenge the way you've been moving in relationships. But if you're tired of being another man who's easy to walk away from, if you want to be the man she remembers for life, then keep listening. And if you want more raw, unfiltered truth about women, relationships, and what it really means to stand in your masculine power, subscribe right now and hit that bell. Because this channel isn't about tricks or pickup lines, it's about becoming the kind of man who doesn't just attract women. He leaves an imprint they can't erase. So let's get into it. 1. The man who makes her feel safe. Every woman, no matter how independent or strong she seems on the outside, is searching for safety. And I don't just mean physical safety. I'm talking about emotional safety, psychological safety, even spiritual safety. A woman never forgets the man who makes her feel like she can finally exhale. Do you know how rare that is today? Most men add chaos to a woman's life instead of calming it. They're inconsistent, unstable, quick to anger, or desperate for validation. And when a woman feels that, her body remembers it as danger. But the man who makes her feel safe, he's unforgettable. He doesn't raise his voice when she's emotional. He doesn't threaten to leave every time there's conflict. He doesn't need to dominate her to feel strong. Instead, his strength is in his steadiness. She can cry, she can vent, she can even test him. And he doesn't crumble. He remains grounded. Think about Marcus Aurelius. As emperor of Rome, he faced betrayal, disease, and war. Yet his writings remind us that true strength isn't in controlling others, it's in controlling yourself. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." That's exactly the kind of mindset women crave. When you can hold your ground in the storm of her emotions, she remembers you, because you've given her something she can't buy, can't fake, and can't find everywhere: peace in your presence. Ask yourself this. When the people around you lose control, do you lose it too? Or do you become the anchor? Do you make women feel safer or more on edge? That question is the line between being forgotten and being remembered. 2. The man who truly listens. Let me tell you something men almost always underestimate. Listening is a superpower. I don't mean nodding your head while waiting for your turn to talk. I don't mean throwing in while scrolling through your phone. I mean truly listening, giving her your full presence, your full attention, and showing her that her words matter. Most men fail here. They dismiss her feelings, try to fix problems before even understanding them, or get defensive the second she opens up. And when that happens, she shuts down. She learns she can't trust you with her inner world. But the man who truly listens, he's unforgettable. Because when a woman feels heard, she feels seen. And when she feels seen, she bonds with you on a level she can't undo. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." That's timeless wisdom. Listening isn't weakness, it's power. And in a world full of distractions, giving a woman your full presence is like water in a desert. Here's what you don't realize. When a woman is talking to you, she's not always looking for solutions. Sometimes she just wants to know you care enough to enter her world. She wants to know that her voice echoes in your mind. When you listen, really listen, she feels connected to you in a way she won't forget. Think about it. How many people in your life have truly listened to you? Not judged, not rushed, not dismissed, but listened. Probably very few. And those few people, you remember them, don't you? Now flip the question. How many women will remember you as the man who gave them the rare gift of presence? Or will they remember you as just another guy who only half paid attention until he could talk about himself? That's the difference. Now let's keep going, because the next traits are where most men get exposed. You see, making a woman feel safe and listening to her puts you ahead of 80% of guys already. But if you want to live in her memory forever, you need more than the basics. You need to give her what most men are too weak, too distracted, or too selfish to provide. 3. The man who protects her peace. Let me ask you something. Are you a source of peace in a woman's life, or are you just another source of chaos? Because here's the truth. Women never forget the man who protected their peace. Not the man who gave them butterflies for a month, not the man who showered them with gifts, but the man who actually removed stress from their lives instead of adding to it. Think about the relationships you've seen around you. How many women look drained, anxious, or unsettled because the man they're with is inconsistent, unreliable, or just plain toxic? Most men don't realize they're doing it. They bring their insecurities, their temper, their ego battles into the relationship, and the woman pays the price. But when a man protects her peace, it's like oxygen. It's rare. It's unforgettable. Protecting her peace doesn't mean walking on eggshells or avoiding conflict. It means living in a way that creates stability. It means your word actually means something. It means you don't start unnecessary arguments just to feel powerful. It means she can relax in your presence because she knows you won't turn into an emotional hurricane at any moment. Seneca once said, "He who angers you conquers you." That applies here. If your mood, your actions, your entire identity are constantly hijacked by anger or insecurity, then you're not protecting her peace. You're threatening it. But when you master yourself, when you live with discipline and emotional control, you create an environment where she can breathe. And believe me, she'll never forget that man. Here's the question you need to ask yourself. When a woman walks away from me after spending time together, does she feel lighter or heavier? That answer will tell you everything about whether you're unforgettable or forgettable. 4. The man who challenges her. Now this one is powerful. Every woman remembers the man who challenged her. Not the man who agreed with everything she said. Not the man who was afraid to call her out, but the man who demanded growth. See, most guys think being liked means never disagreeing, never pushing back, never challenging. But all that does is make you forgettable. A woman might like the man who always agrees with her, but she'll never respect him. She'll never crave him. She'll never remember him the same way she remembers the man who forced her to rise higher. That man stands out forever. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." That's exactly it. When you live by standards, when you expect the same from her, You don't have to argue or lecture. Your very presence challenges her to grow. Let me give you an example. Imagine she's venting about her job, saying how miserable she is, how she hates her boss. Most men either nod along or give surface-level advice. The unforgettable man listens and then challenges her. He says, "So what are you going to do about it? Are you really going to let this situation control your life, or are you going to make a move?" Do you know what that does? It wakes her up. It forces her to confront her own patterns, and even if she gets defensive in the moment, deep down, she'll never forget you. Modern figures like Jordan Peterson embody this energy. Love him or hate him, he challenges people to face truths they'd rather avoid, and that's why he lives in the minds of millions. A woman may not always like being challenged, but she'll never forget the man who refused to let her settle for less than she's capable of. So ask yourself, do you challenge women to grow, or do you just enable their comfort zones? Because if you're afraid of her disapproval, you'll never become unforgettable. 5. The man who made her feel desired. This one cuts deep because it's primal. Every woman remembers the man who made her feel truly desired. I'm not talking about lust in a shallow way. I'm talking about a deep, undeniable hunger that goes beyond just physical attraction. Too many men play it safe. They hold back their desire out of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of coming on too strong, fear of vulnerability. And what ends up happening? The woman feels unloved, unwanted, unseen. That kills attraction faster than anything else. But the man who made her feel desired? That's burned into her memory forever. Desire is magnetic. When a man looks at a woman like she's the only one in the room, when he touches her with intention, when he communicates through his presence that she awakens something primal in him, that leaves a scar on her heart she'll never forget. Epictetus taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. That applies here too. Because sometimes showing your desire feels risky. It feels vulnerable. You risk being misunderstood. But that risk is what makes it real. That's why most men never get there. They're too scared to be fully seen. Here's what you need to understand. Women don't just want to be loved. They want to be desired. They want to feel chosen. And the man who can make a woman feel that way, not through cheap compliments, but through genuine, unashamed passion, is the man she'll replay in her mind years later. So think about this. When was the last time you looked at a woman with such raw intensity that she felt it in her bones? When was the last time you made her feel chosen above all others? If you can't remember, then you know why women forget you. And if you can, then you already understand why she never will. By now, you're starting to see the pattern. Women don't remember the man who simply passed through their lives. They remember the man who left an imprint, who shifted how they felt about themselves, about love, about life. We've already covered 5 unforgettable traits, but there are 2 bonus ones that men constantly overlook. And let me tell you, these are often the ones that separate the man she remembers for a season from the man she remembers for a lifetime. 6. The man who walked away with dignity. Every woman remembers the man who refused to beg, cling, or collapse when things ended. Let's be real. Most men fall apart during breakups. They send paragraphs, beg for another chance, stalk her social media, and basically destroy whatever dignity they had left. And the crazy part? That desperation doesn't bring her back. It only cements why she left. But the man who walks away with dignity? That man leaves a permanent scar, because he communicates something rare, self-respect. He shows her that his worth doesn't come from her validation. He doesn't hate her, he doesn't curse her name, but he also doesn't stick around trying to force something that's already dead. Think of Epictetus, who said, "Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will." That's radical acceptance. And when a man accepts reality instead of fighting it, he shows strength most people will never master. Women never forget that. They may move on, they may love again, but the memory of the man who left with quiet confidence will always haunt them. So ask yourself, if every woman you've lost were to describe the way you handled the ending, would they say you collapsed, or that you walked away like a man who knew his value? 7. The man who left her better than he found her. This is the final one, and it's the deepest. Every woman remembers the man who left her better than he found her. Most men take. They drain her energy, use her body, waste her time, and leave her worse off. But the rare man, the unforgettable one, leaves her stronger, wiser, more confident, more herself than she was before. That doesn't mean you rescue her or fix her. It means your presence elevated her. You challenged her. You inspired her. You respected her in a way that made her respect herself more. You taught her something, even if it was just through your example. That man is unforgettable because he didn't just play a role in her life. He transformed it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." And that's it. The man who lives with integrity, discipline, and vision automatically lifts the people around him. He doesn't need to talk about it. He doesn't need to prove it. His life does the proving for him. Think about it. When a woman reflects on her past, the man she'll never forget isn't always the one she married, or the one she spent the longest time with. It's the man who changed her, who shifted her perspective, who expanded her sense of what was possible, who showed her a higher standard of what masculinity looks like. That man becomes a permanent part of her story. Now here's the mind-blowing question. Are you the kind of man who takes from women, or are you the kind of man who leaves them better? If every woman you've ever been with lined up and spoke honestly about how they felt after knowing you, what would they say? That answer will tell you if you're unforgettable, or just another chapter easily closed. And that brings us to the end. Let's recap quickly. Women never forget the man who makes them feel safe. They never forget the man who truly listens. They never forget the man who protects their peace. They never forget the man who challenges them. They never forget the man who made them feel desired. And on top of that, they never forget the man who walked away with dignity, and the man who left them better than he found them. That's the blueprint. That's the truth most men don't want to face. It's not about games. It's not about tricks. It's not even about winning women over. It's about who you are, how you carry yourself, and the mark you leave behind. So here's my final piece of advice. Stop trying to be liked. Stop trying to be chosen, and start living in a way that makes you unforgettable. Because when you become that man, women don't just remember you. They measure every man after you against your standard. If this message hit you, don't just walk away and forget it. Sit with it. Ask yourself the hard questions. And if you want more raw truth like this, subscribe right now, hit that bell, and come back for the next one. Because this isn't about chasing women. It's about building yourself into the kind of man they never forget.